right now we are queuing the notifications, and we're queuing the notification and dispatching them to the app, dispatching those notifications to the app as they trickles. All right, guys, so in this video we are going to handle Laravel queues. So what we want to achieve here is how we can push a delayed notification, like in-app notification. We are going to send a notification to a device, like a notification. Firebase cloud messaging is going to come from the server, and then you're sending it to your device. So yes, so we're going to create fresh new Laravel application. So into the installation guide, we have get started. Where's that? So just copy this code, compose. So let's create a project called queues. Let's call it queues. Okay, so while it is crafting, so first of all we're going to make a controller, then we make that particular queue job, and then we migrate the queue table, and then after that we work on the controller. So okay, so let's wait as it. All right, done. So first thing first is to create a controller. So let's create a controller, a notification controller. So let's grab that, create the controller created success. So here we are going to have two methods. So the first method is an API method that will be called from our API endpoint to send the notification to the device, and the another method is to get to use Firebase cloud messaging to send that notification to the device. All right, so queue come in whereby we're going to delay some of the notifications so that a certain notification happens at certain duration. So in our app HTTP, then we have the controllers. So in this controller we're going to create a function. The function is going to call notify. So return type, so it's a static public function. So first thing first, we are going to have the URL. So this is the URL from the Firebase cloud messaging. So you have URL. This should be okay. Let me just grab those URL very quickly so that I don't waste time. So I'll place them in the env so that yeah, I'll place everything in the env. So we have another variable called server key, another one called data array. So inside the data array, since we are going to send this notification to our Flutter device, this method is going to accept these parameters. So one is the title of the notification, title of the notification. The one is body of the notification, and the device key, device underscore key. right? So in the data array, we're going to have all right. So the next thing is to encode this data. So we're going to have headers. Post, we pass in our headers, we pass in the return transfer to be true. Verify SSL host, we set it to 0 and we set the version to the version 1 of the curl HTTP. And then we don't verify this the SSL here, and then the post field is the encoded data that we set up above here, and then we execute it, the post request, to the Firebase cloud messaging platform. So our next function is dependent on what you're going to create, you're going to set up. So we're going to, of course, set up we test the queue, test queue, we test the queues. All right, so here we have pass in request. So yeah, so first thing first, let's create let's create the queue. All right, so with our function here, let's create that queue. So the job is created successfully. So under your HTTP, under your config queues, there are several drivers. By default is set to sync driver, but now we are going to use the database as our driver. So we're going to our env file and look for this connection queue down here, connection queue, and instead of sync, we're going to set it to our database, and also we're going to set our database too, because we're going to do the migration. So the database here, we're going to call it let me just call it queues, right? So we call it queues. All right, now that the queues have been created under the jobs, so we're going to define what we're going to pass in here. Let's see what we're going to handle here. So we're going to call this method called notify here. Now our notification controller here right now, let's create the test notify here, right? Format a little bit, so yeah, something like that. So here in here, what we're going to have is users. So we haven't created the migration, so we are going to create users colon where not now, so when our so first let's create the migration so that you see this. So before that, let's create the queue table, then we add some so let's move to tables, migrations. So in the queue tables, what it has just generated are these. So we have jobs here, and also file field jobs there. So in the users table, we're going to have two fields. So one is the device underscore key. We're going to have device key and the integer delay. So we're going to, this is the delay that we're going to use to dispatch the notification after particular delay. All right, so now that we have that, we can move to our notification controller and now do the where not null here. So where not null, this device key, let me call it nullable, since if you are to add this in your existing application, of course you will have, if you migrate, it will require default value, so let's make it nullable. So we'll have device key where it is not null, and also where not null the delay here. So we are going to get all the records, right? So after getting all the records, we are going to loop with for each key as a value. So for each users as a user, we are going to dispatch. So what are we going to dispatch? We're going to dispatch a job. So the job is, remember we created the job here, so this is the job. So in the job we dispatch that job. It's a new job. Let's import it. So the job takes in title, and so for title we're going to have the user name, and for body we are going to have the user email, and for key we are going to have that particular user then device key. So now that we have dispatched that job, remember we set in a delay, right? That should not be there. So next is we are going to tag on a delay, right? So we're going to tag on a delay. So we're going to minimize that. I'm going to tag on a delay. So we are going to delay it using Carbon. We're going to delay it now. Then we are going to add minutes. So we're going to add minutes. So we are going to add the user delay minute. So the delay that will be set on the user. So this here, so we're queuing those in the delay. So yeah, that is that. So that is all about that. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to run the migration. We're going to migrate the tables. So we're going to migrate fresh. Do we have here unknown database queues? Okay, let's head to php-admin and create that table. So php localhost php-admin new database, that name. Then we do the migration. So we've migrated our database. If we reload here, we have this table with no data. So next thing we're going to learn is we're going to learn about seeding our database. So we're going to seed that database. So let's head over to let's head over to our factories. Go user factory. So in our user factory, we are going to have these two fields that we have added to our migrations. So we have the device key. User factory, we have two keys that we have added. We have that one and the delay. So for delay, we are going to use a random. We're going to seed only 10 users. So you're going to have a random with a minimum of 0 minutes to, let's say, 5 minutes. So we're going to queue it for 5 minutes. And then the device key, I'm going to use my device key. I have it here. So this is the Flutter application that I'm going to show you how to set up notification on in the next video. So here we have our device key there, right? So that is that. So let's seed our database with this record. So we're going to our seeder and create 10 users. So we'll have PHP artisan db seed, PHP to seed our database with those 10 records. Artisan db seed. So seeding is just creating dummy data for tests. Yeah, so you have to be very keen when you're seeding a database. All right, so let's seed them. Artisan out. Okay, artisan. So database has been seeded successfully. If you look at our DB, if we refresh these tables right here, we have 10 people with the device key and the delays. So we have that. So at 0 you have to dispatch. At 1 minute you have 2 people. And at the 3rd minute we have 1 person. At the 4th minute we have also 2 people, and the 5th minute we have 1 person. Alright, so we're going to test that. To move to our APIs. Let's move to route. So under here we are going to have route : we're going to have a get request to this URL here. So it's called notify. So route get, so the URL is notify, and the controller that we're going to work on is the notification controller class, and the method that we are going to call is the test queue. Yep, that one. So let's cross fingers we get the notification. So I'm going to start an emulator instead. So let me go with the pixel this. Let me launch it. Okay, let me launch that. Faster, let's go. And launch it and run the Flutter there. Very quick. So we're going to regenerate. We're going to regenerate our key, the key. So we're going to refresh. We're going to rerun our seeder so that we have new keys here, because we're now using the new emulator, right? So let's wait it. We need the key. Come on. We need the key. Come on. So here's the key for this particular device. Let's copy it. Hey, hang on. Let's copy that. So let's move to we're going to refresh this database so that we have new. Let me just close it so that I don't navigate. Of course, we're going to allow notification. That is a must. So we're going to migrate fresh. Let's stop the job right now. Clear, stop there, and migrate fresh. Before we migrate fresh, let's add the key here from the emulator. Yeah, so migrate fresh, nothing in our DB, seed it, after seeding it we have data now. Yes, from seeding it we run server, we start the job, and we hope for the best. So let me minimize this before we send any API request. Minimize these two side by side here. So we'll be evaluating as we move. And yeah, I think that's all. So let's send it. All right, it's for notification. So we have the one. Yes, we have that one. And also we are going to wait for, so right now we are queuing the notifications, and we're queuing the notification and dispatching them to the app, dispatching those notifications to the app as they trickles. So remember, when the delay has finished, the record is going to be deleted on the queues table. So let's just expand this a little bit. So we are expecting another notification at what time? We are expecting another notification at the first minute. So let's move to our jobs table. No, we don't have field jobs. So we have Millie, Mr. Pop, Mr. Rayleigh. Mr. Rayleigh got a notification. Mr. Rayleigh. So Mr. Rayleigh got a notification at the first minute. So let's wait for the second minute, then you can test it yourself to see for those remaining minutes. So at this point I will end the tutorial. Let's wait for the second minute. So of course I'll clip cut so that we reach the second minute faster, so that you guys don't have to wait to hear the notification. All right, so whom are we expecting at the second minute? So we have one person, right? So the one person is Cloudy Turn 2. I don't know, those are fake names anyway. If one of the name here is your name, I'm sorry. So let's wait. So you have Cloudy there. I'm also Alright, that is that. So see you when we will be creating this app and setting up the notification, so that we will rerun it again. Yeah. So yeah, when we have created the tutorial, we'll link it to the description, that when you are watching this for the first time, you just jump to the next one, then watch it. Alright, so guys, let's see each other in the next video.